Hi everybody and welcome again. Over the last couple of days, we've spoken about two of our three key components, that being mindset and nutrition. So today what we thought we might look at is the training component. And we've got a little surprise for you. If you stay tuned till the end, we have a bit of a giveaway, but it's a secret.
Ooh,
so I'm
exciting.
not going to share details just yet. So the words diet and exercise go together, and just like the word diet, as we discussed yesterday, there are often negative connotations associated with exercise. The idea of exercise puts most people in a very negative state of mind, and that's because it's hard, I have to spend hours doing it, I don't really have time to devote to that, it's something that's too expensive, I have to join a gym, and it allows us to come up with a whole heap of excuses to why we shouldn't actually move.
Yeah.
And while yes, mindset and nutrition go a long way to making us very, healthy and achieving that state of wellness that we look for, training is a very key component. So today is about looking at the difference, I suppose, between exercise and training, and how that can help you to achieve your goals.
Yeah, it's kind of demystifying a little bit and clarifying a little bit more about what it actually means to move your body in a deliberate fashion so you can get the results that you want. So a lot of people have negative connotations towards exercise, mostly because of what they've been told and their own experiences with exercise. It involves going to the gym and doing boot camps and all kinds of stuff. But what we want to do, as Michelle said, we just want to bring some clarity around what it actually means to do some kind of exercise, some kind of physical activity. And so if the alternative to diet is nutrition, then the alternative to exercise is training. And a simple mindset shift around this area makes a tremendous difference. So you've got, on one side, you have exercise, and that involves endless hours of cardio, going to the gym, doing boot camps, burning off calories like the pizza you ate last night. And the whole idea is based around calories in and calories out. If you spend any kind of time looking into how the body actually works, yes, calories are important, obviously, but it's what type of calories you're eating and how your body uses those calories that makes the most difference. So that's why, if you haven't already, I'd suggest that you go back and watch the previous video where we discuss in more detail about diet and nutrition, the difference between those. But so on one side is exercise, on the other side is training. And training, how we define it, is basically a 30 to 45 minute workout, training in short spurts, but fairly high intensity, but incorporating a lot of resistance and cardio at the same time. So you're cutting your time at the gym or wherever you are by a significant margin. And also training you can either do in the gym, at home, or somewhere outdoors. There are really no restrictions. But the main factor in training is how we've formulated what we do is geared towards allowing you to release the stress and tension and anxiety and even depression, symptoms of anxiety and depression in a real effective way. And so they're the main two components that most people work on. And we can get back into a little bit more detail, but I'm sure we all have stories about exercising and going to the gym and doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, there was about 4 years or more than that, but there was about 4 years of my life where I went to the gym every single day, and that without fail, to the point where after there was one point where I was in quite a serious car accident, and I didn't turn up for the gym that day, and the owners actually called me to find out if I was okay, which was kind of like it was a bit scary, but yeah, they wanted to make sure that I was okay, and other members would be like, "Where's Michelle?" They'd explain, oh, she was in a car accident, she would be taking about a week off. But, I was such a regular, often, at least once, but often twice a day, that, they noticed my absence. And not when I'd been absent for like a week or something like that, but when I had been absent for a day. So to get into what my training looked like, I would generally do at least an hour of weight training. And then after that, I would do at least an hour of cardio. And it was mind-numbingly boring. And then sometimes, because, I was told I needed to train not just weights, but also I needed to do cardio at least a couple of times a day, the first one on an empty stomach before I'd eaten breakfast, so that I could achieve the body that I wanted. Thing is that it didn't really deliver what it was promising to deliver, and it was boring. It was really boring.
Absolutely.
And it took up so much of my time. But I was too scared to miss. So although I said that, I went and I trained every single day for a 4-year period, it wasn't motivated by this great love and joy of training, although there were moments of that. It was more out of fear. I was worried that if I stopped, then, the wheels would fall off, and all of a sudden, I'd put on lots of weight and it would sort of spiral out of control. There's a funny story. The first training session I ever missed, because it was before my accident, was when Stephen asked me to go for a ride on his motorcycle. And I couldn't go and train in the morning. And so I thought, it's okay. Like, I'll go out for the bike ride and then I'll go to the gym. But it was too late because the gym had closed early. It was well before the 24-hour gym explosion. Yeah. And so the gym had closed, and it was almost like, oh, what am I going to do now?
Crisis.
I was a little bit lost. How am I going to do my cardio? But I think it's important to note that although we often see, cardio is directed a lot at women, and it's something a lot of women feel like they have to do and they overdo, there's still that pressure on men.
Yeah, absolutely. You obviously you walk into a gym and you see the girls are all on the cardio equipment, going crazy on the treadmills and the steppers and what have you. But the guys, when I was training at my peak, I used to train with a very good friend of mine. He was about 6'2", 6'3", weighed around 110 kilos, much bigger than me. And we used to throw the weights around. I would keep up with him with the weights because, you don't want to look weak. And we used to just train like animals. We would train for 2 hours and then do another hour of cardio. And we would do that 6, sometimes 7 days a week. It was great, and I was having fun. But after a while, I just couldn't continue on like that. It just wasn't sustainable. I did that for many years, but I couldn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. And so I backed right off. And there was a stage there where I just completely lost interest in the gym. I didn't even go near a gym for quite a long time. But then when I stepped back into it, I went back in with a different mindset. And the main thing was that how I was training before, the reasons why I was training was I wanted to look a certain way. And it was all about what kind of shape I was in, how do I look, in a tight shirt, all that kind of, important stuff. But this time it was more about feeling a certain way. And because I was under a lot of stress, there were a lot of things going on in my life, So, and I noticed that because I wasn't training, I wasn't releasing it. It was kind of building up, and so I went to the gym just as a release, just almost like therapy, I call it. And what I realized was I was enjoying going to the gym a lot more, and in fact, the more stress and anxiety and frustration and anger and all the rest of it that I had, the more I wanted to go to the gym because I knew that was going to be my way of releasing all that energy. And that way I can get up in the morning and do it all over again. And so that was the main, that idea really kind of changed the way I looked at training and noticed a very big difference between a distinction between exercising and training. The main difference between the two is, if you want to really put it simply, is that when it comes to exercise, it's about strengthening and shaping your body. But when we talk about training, it's about strengthening and shaping your mind. And amazing things begin to happen when you focus on strengthening and shaping your mind through doing physical activity. Because the byproduct of that is that your body is strengthened and shaped to how you want it without you even really thinking about it.
It kind of takes care of itself.
It does it on its own, yeah. And it takes a lot of stress out of the idea that I'm not, I haven't lost anything or I haven't put on any muscle or whatever it is. That's out the window because you're just focusing on releasing that energy that kind of stresses you out. And also because you're doing things and you're pushing yourself in the gym, you're strengthening your mind to believe that you can actually do more than what you thought you could. And so you take that idea with you outside the gym and you can implement it in a whole range of different ways through all aspects of your life. And you begin to also influence in a positive way the people around you because they're seeing you a lot less stressed, a lot more relaxed and a lot happier, but they're also seeing your body change as a result of that. So, and that's why we've come up with our own framework, and it's it's really quite simple. Things aren't complicated unless we complicate them. And so there are a lot of experts that tell you that you need to do this and you need to do that, and you need to buy this equipment and go to this gym and whatever else. But in reality, you don't need any of that. You can go to the gym. It's great. We go to the gym. But if you can't or don't want to, you can train at home. And all you have to do is stick with the framework of, and this is what we do. We do about 30 to 45 minutes of a workout, and it incorporates both resistance and cardio. So as I said before, instead of doing an hour of resistance training, another hour of cardio, there's 2 hours, you can incorporate all that and do it in 30 to 35 to 45 minutes. And you do it in what's called interval training. So you do like 4 rounds of whatever circuit you've got, and then you have a rest for a minute or two, and then you do it again. You do that 4 times, and that way you get all the benefits from resistance training. With it, very important because building muscle just on its own is extremely beneficial. And a lot of girls think that they don't want to get too big and bulky and look mannish.
It's really hard.
It's really difficult. It takes a lot of time and a lot of steroids to get like that. And you're not going to achieve that by doing this kind of training. It will just give you that tone and tightness that you want. And for the guys, you can go a little bit heavier and build some genuine muscle. And the beauty of it is you can actually, as I said before, you can feel better about who you are and your life and your circumstances because you've just gone into the gym and or whatever, wherever you are, started doing your training and just released all that stress and anger and anxiety and that sadness and the frustration and whatever it is that you're feeling at the time. And you walk away feeling $1 million.
Well, when I think of it, because I know that a number of people feel like, well, you know, it's almost selfish to take that extra hour or the extra 40 minutes out. You know, if you're traveling to or from the gym, it might take an hour. It's selfish. It's time that you could be spending with your family. But what version of you is actually spending that time with your family? I know that I'm certainly a lot more relaxed.
Stressed out, unhappy version.
I'm a nicer person when I train. But I'm also a really good example in that way as well. And as you were saying, it is about intensity as well. So even when you think you're training hard, you can train harder.
Yeah.
I know that Steve decided he was going to train me after I get back from the gym, and we're just going to do a 15-minute sort of circuit outside to give you that example that you don't need expensive equipment. I had a yoga mat and some boxing gloves, focus mitts, that's it. And he's been putting me through my paces now for, I think, 5 sessions. And I've already noticed significant changes in the shape of my body just in those 5 15-minute sessions. That, and, you know, if I had the energy, sometimes I might accidentally miss the focus mitt. Oh, I'm tired. But, oops.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know, I just feel that even though if I'm tired driving home from work, I know if I turn up and I do my 40 minutes, I'm going to feel better, and I leave feeling more energized. I leave feeling better. And the big plus for me, apart from obviously the personal gains, is the influence that I'm having on my daughter.
Yeah.
So
She did her own circuit.
Yeah, she did. So she's seeing that we're looking after ourselves, we're investing in ourselves. And she was watching the circuit, and while I was doing it, she came out and asked Steve, "Oh, can I do it too?" And so she's planning even her own upcoming videos in Livewise Junior section where she can give some training tips for kids as well.
Yeah.
So as I said in the intro, we are going to give you offer a giveaway today. So if you're interested in a sample training, like a day of training, so one of the circuits, you can either drop a gym in the comments below if you train in the gym, or home in the comments below. And what we'll do is we'll send you via Facebook Messenger the sample workout.
Yeah.
So that you can have a look at the way in which we train and what we're actually talking about, because sometimes it's a little bit hard to picture logistically how that works. But when you see it, and you can give it a go and see how you go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we don't really know what we're doing for the next video, so that's a mystery to us as well. But if there is something that you'd like us to talk about, please feel free to comment and make a suggestion and for future upcoming videos. And we will definitely see if we can help out there.
Okay, so don't forget to comment if you'd like a sample training program. Otherwise, if you'd like to find out more about us and what we do, you can visit livewiseproject.com. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.